Coming up at the top of the hour, KDKA News at 11. Let's head over to the news desk. That's where Ken Rice is. Ken, good evening.
Hey, Josh, good evening. Tonight, a husband and wife wounded in a deadly shooting. We have details, plus a dispute over how much money some elected leaders are getting paid. And Ray Petlin tracking an upcoming First Alert Weather Day. We'll tell you what that's all about coming up at 11. Josh.
Thank you, Ken. In addition to everything Ken talked about, we will talk some Steelers. Rich Walsh is in Indianapolis. He'll give a preview for tomorrow's game and just what the Steelers need to do both as a team and also on offense to pull together and get that W tomorrow in Indianapolis. We'll have that. Plus, we will talk some MLB. We talked about this already. Pirates made a trade. Tyler Glasnow. We'll give you the details of that upcoming contract. And we'll talk some Penguins as well. Rickard Rakell returns to practice today. He was a full go in practice, eligible to come off long-term injured reserve tomorrow before the Penguins face Toronto. He talked today after practice. You'll hear what he has to say about being back on the ice with the guys. That's all coming up during KDKA News at 11. Before we go, really good question on Twitter from Zach, who asks, what is the point in firing a coach with only a few games left in the regular season, specifically Brandon Staley? And for those who did not see that, after last night's game, which if you're giving up, what was it, 42 points in the first half, might be a good reason to fire a coach mid-season, just saying. But there's a couple different reasons why. These are the two more likely ones. One we already saw earlier this season when the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels. When you know for certain that your coach has lost the locker room and you know he's not going to get it back and you know there's no hope for the players wanting to play for that guy or giving their best effort for that guy, there's no use keeping him around. It's really an extreme situation doing it that early given the circumstances. If you read some of the reports about what happened in Vegas, that's really bad. But that's one reason, is if you lose the locker room and that guy just can't seem to get him back. The other reason is the more interesting one. If you are the Los Angeles Chargers and you're a team with a really good quarterback and a couple really good players on defense, and you might think you're just a move or two, maybe a draft pick or two, and a coach away from contending. And you might think there's a coach out there that might be available that you like. So you might want to take advantage of that as early as possible to let that coach that's out there know that you might be interested in him. If you haven't already voiced your interest already. It hasn't been 24 hours since that was announced by the Chargers. But there may be interest in a couple of guys out there. There's a couple of college coaches that haven't really jumped around in the carousel yet. And then there's one in particular in Ann Arbor, Michigan, who was reportedly working on a contract extension to stay at his current job before he goes to the college football playoff. But if you can maybe have a conversation or two about maybe changing his mind, you might want to let him know that that opportunity is there now, before he signs that potential extension to stay where he is, or before he goes into the college football playoff and maybe decides he wants to stick around. Yes, I'm talking about Jim Harbaugh. If you're the Chargers, this is the time. This is the opportunity where you got to snatch Jim Harbaugh, or try to snatch Jim Harbaugh before Michigan keeps him here. That's what you're going to do. At least that's what I would consider doing. But anyway, we are out of time. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for your calls. Thanks for your tweets. It's you guys that make this show great. For our producer, Jeremiah Miller, and our team here at KDKA, I'm Josh Taylor saying thanks for watching. Make the switch to KDKA News at 11. I'll see you over there.